Well, Piper, you got to go with me because the fireworks are going off and we got to get down here and get a job done, okay? So we're going to head to Port Arthur and see what we can do. Piper couldn't take the fireworks at home, so she needed to go with Daddy. So we hit the road and went down to Port Arthur and tried to get some work done. There's little patch jobs in the parking lot that needed to be done this weekend because we got a lot of jobs coming forward and we just had to find time to do it. So we recruited a bunch of the guys and we headed down to Port Arthur. And now I'm at the Belows over there battling the lack of people that are wanting to work. Finally got a guy that would help me load it up. And here we go. He's pushing it on there, going to get it all up. Then they said you got to pay for the pallet. And I said, I've been waiting 30 minutes. They decided not to charge me. Got it over there, got the guys lined up around it, and here we go. We got it surrounded. Tearing it up. I know. Got to haul that back to the shop. This work. You can't get concrete on the 4th of July weekend. You do it the old Dusty way. That's the way it goes. You overkill it with manpower. You overkill it with manpower. When I say overkill it with manpower, there are a lot of people here, but the temperature will rise up. It's around 10 o'clock this morning and it's into 80. By noon, it'll probably, close to 100. So we need to get this done, get it covered up and get out of here. So the more people we have early, the better off you are. And one thing about concrete is, if you don't have enough people, you'll wish that you had too many. That's a fact. Concrete is very unforgiving. You get one shot at it, really. And what I always call the eraser, your pencil has an eraser. You can erase words. You can't erase concrete unless you do it with a jackhammer or a big breaker of some kind. So it's sort of a one-time deal. Get her done, get her right, and get out of there. So that's why I'd rather have more than enough people working on something. Even if it does cost a little extra, you get a good job, you get it over with, everybody's happy, and we move on down the road. George there, he's a fine man, he's a fine worker, everything's going pretty good right now. We'll see what happens. Last night, Piper took a couple of tranquilizers to help her get through the night because she was having a hard time with all those explosions. I think she might have a tad of a hangover today, though. Piper gets her a good cold drink of water. I'll make a movie out of this, starring Jesus Gonzalez.
The mixer.
Yeah, the mixer man. And his sidekick, Caesar.
Yeah.
And El Patron.
Oh shit.
The little monster man, the little muscle guy.
I need to sit down then.
Agapito Garcia. There you go, got Castro. Gordo Castro sitting on his mountain. And the retiree himself, Lidil Garcia. These guys are the backbone of construction, and that's no joke. Be hard pressed to do concrete work without these fellas. Used to be an advertisement from Folgers, so you'd come on there and it's a sort of percolator and all this stuff, and then they would pouring it out, and they say it was good to the last drop. Good to the last drop. Well, that's sort of the way it is with the concrete business here. It's good to the last drop. Whatever drops off that bucket last, it better be good as the first. You don't get like a oops on it. At least you better not be saying oops with the concrete business. I know there's some critiquing going on out there about looking at this, or why didn't you have it this thick? Why are you doing poured saccrete out in the freaking parking lot? Well, this is 4,000 PSI concrete, and it just happens to be holiday weekend where I'm not going to spend $2,000 on a delivery truck just to show up with 2 yards. So what you got to do is think outside the box, make sure you got plenty of people, and do the job. That's the way I've always... Getting the shot in here. Yeah, looking at it. I'm having more fun today videoing this than I'm doing anything else. Hope I don't run out of...
Ahí está.
Okay, got a question for you. What do you think about mixing up 2 yards of concrete by hand in the summertime yourself? Think that'd be easy? Huh? Do you? I don't think so. I really don't think so. It looks easy, but it's not. And you just check out the manpower it takes to do that kind of thing. Don't tackle that unless you got a strong back and a weak mind. Good to the last drop. It looks wet, but in about an hour it won't be. See, there's more to it than what you think. You say, okay, we're putting the concrete out there, but hey, you took something out, so you got to do something with that. And it poses a problem too, because this is Sunday, this is July the 5th. You're not going to find too many dump truck drivers going to want to come over there and pick this up. Matter of fact, you're not going to find any. So we got a little truck bed, dump bed there. We take care of it with ourselves. But it's bringing it all the way back to Houston to get rid of it. And there it is, going to have to get rid of it from there too. So it's not just easy as it looks. There's a lot of moving targets there for a little DB job. You think, good grief, that's a lot to do about nothing, and that's a fact. But all these guys, you got to think about them. I mean, they don't want to be there either, but we got to get the job done. Next week we have a job that we need to finish before we start the next one next Saturday, and we need to get that one in good progress before we start another one the following Saturday. So you got to look forward and try to get as much done as you can, and there's always something that's going to pop up that's going to pose some kind of challenge. Always a challenge. So last night at midnight we left our shop, and we arrived over there at Port Arthur at about 1:30 a.m. We got over there, and Archie got out and started getting everything lined up. They didn't leave the lights on for us. They had 2 vehicles parked. They're almost in the way. We ended up doing the saw cutting, the removal of the concrete, and everything went pretty much okay. And by about 6 o'clock, we were pretty close to having it ready. So Lowe's is just right down the street there. They don't open till 8 o'clock. Went over there, got there at 8:15, paid for the material, and it was 35 minutes later before I had somebody helping me load it. I had to go to the manager to get somebody to come down there to do it. They had to have a flag man. Well, anyway, the guy was good enough to go and take care of it for me. So we got back over to the job site and got it wrapped up, and concrete is going. And, I guess we got out of there around noon, got back to the shop. So it was about a 13-hour day. George stayed there to do the finish cleaning up, or the brooming, and that was it. It was 13, 14 hours worth of work by the time, and that was home to home for me, about 14 hours.